What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out a title called IRONHIVE, a game that I've been kind of obsessed with for the last couple days. This is a slick little game that's drawing from a bunch of different wheelhouses, a very difficult game to actually slap a genre on top of. But if I had to describe it, it's sort of like, I would say Frostpunk had a baby with Cultist Simulator, and then there's RPG elements in there as well, like world exploration elements inside of there. Very difficult game to quantify when it comes to what genre it's a part of, so I'm gonna stop trying. But in light of my obsession with this title, I figure we'll play it for about 30 minutes today and check out this Steam Next Fest demo, which I've now finally beaten. If you're wondering why there was no video yesterday, I had 2 videos lined up for yesterday, and one of them I had to verify there was no AI art in it because some of the art was very AI-ish. And then this game right here, I felt like I didn't have a firm enough grasp on how to play it, so I decided to just pull all coverage, wait till the news comes through. If you ever see like missing days nowadays, it's because my quality control has kind of gone through the roof with how I want things to be when they go live on the internet. But IRONHIVE, we're going to play it for like 30 minutes. I got a link for you down below in the description if you want to check out the game there. And then on top of that, you are more than welcome to check out a bunch of the Nerd Castle links that are down there. So in IRONHIVE, what is it? In this game, you are a post-apocalyptic religious leader or warlord that's trying to erect a fortress that will stand the test of time and the wasteland outside of it. Threats interior, threats exterior, everything is kind of represented inside of this game. But for the purposes of the Steam Next Fest demo, they want you to make a level where you have 20 citizens that are working inside of buildings, which shouldn't be too difficult to pull off now that I know what I'm doing. And so let's just start it off by talking about the UI, because this game has a very busy UI and some of it is contextual. You'll need to know what it means in order for the game to make sense. So top left and top right, you'll note that these colors are all matched. That's because they are diametrically opposed to one another. So on this side, we have famine. On this side, we have supply. On this side, we have apathy. On this side, we have workforce. On this side over here, we have chaos. On this side, we have order. On this side, we have despair. And on this side, we have faith. Everything in this game is color-coded. So you see how this guy has an orange hammer? That means he's a part of like the supply department, basically. Things he does benefit supplies. The AP listed right here is how many actions you can take on your turn. That could be building a building, exploring a ruin. It can be initiating, like defeating a bad event. But everything in red means that it's going to cost you AP. And that's one thing that I think this game does really delightfully. It's got a fantastically identifiable, once you know what's going on, you can just quickly look at stuff, see the colors, and know what it's going to affect when you're playing through. Very, very nice Gestalt UI design. But on this first turn, all we really have to do is put down our hive. There it is, and they gave us all the stuff for us to build our first building. I love the incremental building in this game because they followed one of my rules of game design, which is that if you are making a building incrementally build on a square grid piece by piece, that's kind of like laying down tile, like in a bathroom, right? It should make tile-like sounds, bing, boom, boom, bing, bing, boom, boom, bing, but like tonal musical tile sounds randomly as it assembles itself. And so this game has that locked down. A lot of really interesting observations in this game. There's nothing else that we can do with this particular part of the year. You can see the timeline up at the top. So we're going to be in spring for probably another 9 or 10 turns. But the priestess has something to say. Iron Lord, our duty begins here. Raise the heart of the Iron Hive, where the white flame shall burn for all to see, a symbol of our beliefs, repelling the shadows and the dark veil that envelops these barren lands. The game is very Warhammer 40k inspired. You are a religious colony above everything else, and so frequently you've got to pick between like heresy or, you know, faith, that kind of stuff, and you'll get different bonuses for going in either direction. However, the costs that it's going to cost you to keep running your society are going to go up differently depending on what you choose. So this turn, we've got 5 workers. This is basically a worker, and it gives us a free AP, so I'll plop him in right there, just so we can kind of see what we got. The first thing we want to do on this turn, though, we want to finish constructing this building over on this side. And as you can see, when I click the construct button, it was red, just like the AP up here at the top. I love how organized this game is. It makes me happy. My OCD ADD nature really likes how organized and how color-coded this game is. Iron Lord, you've taken the first step. The heart of the IRONHIVE stands, a foundation for our community to grow and prosper. But this is only the beginning. Remember, the strength of our city comes from its people. Our focus must be on the growth of the population. It's the only way that we can be strong enough to face the devastation. So the hive that we just built, this is basically our research center. Anytime you want to buy new buildings, unlock unlock new buildings or get new buildings, it's all inside of here, and once again color-coded by all of the different things that it's going to affect. On this turn, what I'd like to do, though, is I'd like to get 2 supply stations, because what these do is they add resources to our orange pile every single turn that we have them active. And if you paid attention, over here on the left-hand side, we now have 1 starvation and we have 1 apathy. When we play, see this counter right here that says demand? This is how many cards or how many actions we can take before we have to pay the piper and pay everything that's over here. And for each category we fail to pay, there will be a thematic falling out or a thematic like riot or chaos or something else that makes our life even worse and more difficult, and thus less likely to make it on the next time around. So I'm trying to get on top of that. But the reason why I pulled these supply stations is that there's a mechanic to this game that I don't know if it was in the tutorial, in all honesty, but I figured it out on accident. But if you take 2 supply stations and you put them next to each other, buildings in this game clump, and this is incredibly important because that means you get double the output, but at only the cost of building 1 building. So I was losing in this game over and over and over again because I just couldn't figure out how to keep up with the resources. Clumping. Clumping is what you want to do. You want your buildings to combine. The more combined they are, the more efficient they are, the less workers it takes to get them up and running, the less resources it takes to build them, and on top of that, you get like a 50% output bonus. After that, I beat the demo. So we need to start gathering some stuff from piles. Now, these spots right here, you can assign workers to them. And if you watch, oh, I'm out of AP, never mind. But we did complete a quest. So you have quests in this game for all of the scenarios. When you complete one of the quests, and usually it's just doing the stuff the scenario expects you to do anyways, you get XP, you get action points, and you get bonuses that get added on into your overall deck for things that you can play on locations. So we will take that. It added 4 guys to my deck right there, and it gave me 2 AP, which is actually going to be kind of helpful because I need to put a worker inside of here. He's an orange worker, and this is an orange building, so I picked him on purpose because if we put the green worker inside of there, it's kind of a waste because he's not going to count towards leveling up this building. Adding more workers and adding more resources makes you upgrade buildings to the next tier. And so if you already have a guy that it's going to require in there, it counts for the next tier up, and so you'll want to do that. I'm also going to take this guy, and I'm going to put him inside the mine. If we dig over here with one of our actions, we now have a 50% chance to get scrap and a 75% chance to get ourselves minerals. Let's go ahead and roll the turn on over. It'll throw everything back into our deck, but our deck's so small right now that the same stuff's going to come back up, so I wouldn't worry about it. On this side, I'd like to get this pile harvested about as fast as I possibly can, so I am going to overload this guy with workers so that we get tons of resources out. And so there's our action right there. We got scrap, we got minerals. We're going to need 1 more scavenge. Good. I didn't get the output that I was hoping I would get there. I was hoping I would get a lot more. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm greedy, but let's get this building built up because we need this guy to be running post-haste. We want him sprinting down the block and supplying us with yellow because if you noticed, we're up to now 7 starvation. This number is going to get real high in this demo. So if you're going to build for anything, build to produce supplies and build to produce workforce. I'm going to put the rock in there, and then I'm going to finish this building off. There we go. We now have a factory, and the factory is producing 3 yellow per turn, which should be enough to keep us ahead of what the game wants. However, we have enough AP that we can take these guys and slot them in. You see these requirements right here? If you fulfill these requirements, it goes up to the next tier and generates even more resources, and we're going to want even more resources. That's going to be helpful. I will play the outsider because it gives me an AP and just converts into a worker that'll be inside my deck. And then from there, I'll probably put both of these guys in here for now, and we'll scavenge that once to get some manuscripts and some organics, because this thing, you've got to feed organics or you've got to feed oil into it in order to keep it functioning. So every single turn, it's going to lose 2 assets, and it's going to generate 3 supplies. And really carefully balancing the act here is going to be something that you have to do. We have an event that's popped up. Let's see what it is. During the excavation of a pile of debris, a deep tunnel was discovered. The air is heavy and suffocating, and a moldy smell invades the senses. Unintelligible whispers emanate from the walls, heightening the sense of unease. Some believe there's forgotten riches here, while others fear collapses and the unknown. We can either convert this into a quest. extraction in the tunnels, or we can take a card right now that'll give us 5 purple. I'm going to take the quest because the 5 purple doesn't really factor into this demo. This demo doesn't lean super heavily into religious mechanics, and so purple is everything that has to do with religion. And so let's see what that new quest is. So we got one done right here. We built a supply station, so I'm going to take that for the AP because there's still things that I would like to do, and being turn efficient in this game and draw efficient is very, very important. Doesn't really matter because the bad things that happen don't rely on turns, they rely on how many things you've played, but we still want to be efficient, we want to get things set up. But the new quest that they gave us is just to finish off this rubble pile, actually, so that should be pretty easy. We're going to do that as a matter of course anyways. Let's load some organics in there to make sure that it lasts at least a few more turns, I think would be smart. And then we're going to harvest some scrap over here because I would like to start getting this building going towards tier 2 as soon as possible. We've got a level up to play around with. Level ups are kind of unique in this game. So with level ups, you can either reinforce yourself, which gives you resources and workers. You can get command, which gives you a leadership card, which are kind of like rare. They're the blue guys, basically. You don't get a lot of blue guys, and blue guys tend to be pretty good at every job you put them into. Or you can go with a blessing. What a blessing does is it takes one of your normal worker cards, it levels up his skill level, and it gives him a name and a custom portrait, like he's Volrath the Fallen or something from Magic the Gathering, and it makes him much, much more effective as a minion. Those are the guys you're going to want to keep free-floating in your deck to handle quests and to handle crises. You're not going to want to assign them to a building because then their extra skill is being wasted. For now, I'm going to take a resource card and a worker card, but we are going to start to bless some of our workers a little bit later to make them into elite variants. We got an order card. That's good. Oh, we got a leadership card out anyways. Nice, dude. I love RNG. RNG's fantastic. So those are going to get thrown into our deck. We're out of AP for right now. So let's go ahead and pass. We're just barely staying ahead of our hunger right now, unfortunately. So we'll be all right for the first round, but I don't know if we'll be all right for the second round. In recent days, many citizens are tormented by nightmares where the moon appears as a disturbing pale eye, watchful and judgmental. These unsettling dreams have left the people exhausted and fearful. Some say it's an omen, while others believe it is coincidence. So we can get an extra AP every single turn, but we'll get a rumor. Rumors in this game are bad. So rumors are a thing that you have to play on your city, otherwise they level up in your hand every time you pass on them and get gnarlier and gnarlier. And it's basically a crisis. You get one automatically when this counter goes down to 0. Or we can take the first option, which drains 5 devotion and 5 supply, but it adds 20 to our rumor counter, thus making it so that we don't get some kind of cataclysm sooner. I'll probably go with that, but that does put us behind the 8 ball with regards to our supplies, so we're going to need to get that fixed about as soon as possible. Luckily, we're only 1 scrap off the target right now to make that happen. There is a limit to how big your hand is, too. I think it's like 10 cards. We'll put that right there, and this should be, scrap protocol. The hammering of gears resounded, filling the environment with its steady rhythm. In the shadows of a factory, an anonymous genius works tirelessly. Amidst piles of scrap and machinery, he has an idea. During sleepless nights, he develops a prototype to recycle waste and generate high-quality scrap. Okay, so this one is going to add plus 10 to despair. We don't want that because we're really, really low on religious supply right now. So we're going to go with this one because that's just going to get rid of the plus 20 that we just got. And we also get a sick card out of it that's actually really, really helpful. And so that's what I'm going to take. With 8 AP left right now, we kind of need to decide what we want to do next. I would suggest we go into workforce on this side. And I would suggest that we get a community workshop and get that started. Will that fit? Can I double stack these? I'm a little bit nervous about this. I want it to clump on this side, but I don't know if it will. If it won't, I guess we'll just stack it. Let's go ahead and acquire this guy, and let's see if it fits. It doth not fit, unfortunately. So now I've just got this free-floating card that's not that helpful. Okay, I guess throw him right there. That's fine. Whatever. We're not going to build that one. We're just going to build the bottom one. We do need a green worker, though, for this to work properly. Otherwise, we'll have to do, like, some managerial stuff later on. On top of that, we also want a order oratory. This place keeps order. It's basically like the Arbites in Warhammer 40k. We definitely want one of these. And so I'm going to put him right there. And actually, I'm going to try to clump them, too. so that we're getting more resources out, even though this is a very AP heavy turn. There we go. Merge those two buildings. And because, do I have anybody blue down here, dabba-dee-dabba-die, that I can make happen? I don't, unfortunately. But we are getting +5 supplies per turn from that guy right there, which is great. So let's go ahead and pass our turn. Deck's getting a little bit fat right now. We kind of want to be able to rely on things coming up that we're going to need for future turns. We got our +5, so we're back in the magic. That's good. We did get an elite worker right there. He needs to go in the oratory for right now. We're going to put the scrap in over there. We're going to put the mineral in right there. And then these guys are all hammers, huh? Okay. Let's add... We got a lot of building to do, so let's add you over here for better scavenge efficiency. So we got 1 manuscript and we got 1 plant. 1 manuscript and 1 plant. That works. That's all that I'm looking for. So let's throw the manuscripts in there to get that up and running. And then we will throw... I don't need an organic for either of those. Let's throw 1 organic in here to make sure that that stays functioning for like our entire run. Choose a citizen from your deck and send it to your hand. He gets +1 skill. I do have citizens in my deck right now, so we are going to play this guy with our last AP, and we're going to use it to upgrade our priest. There we go. And so now, you see this little number right here? This is how effective your priest is. This makes them better at quests. It makes them better at harvesting. It makes them better all around. And so really, if we get super lucky, we'll be able to upgrade this character to a named priest that will have its own portrait, which is pretty badass. He's like throwing a Molotov cocktail while he's holding a cyber staff that's like catching lightning from the sky. It's a really cool portrait when it comes up, and then they get like a new name. They do also have attributes down here. So every time I play this guy, I get 1% chaos. Which is that right there. It's blue. Luckily, we're going to be offsetting blue pretty soon, so it won't be that big of a deal. We do have a quest that we completed as well. We've got enough resources to get a leadership card called Convocation. Iron Lord, we have expanded and strengthened our community thus far, but our labor is far from finished. Only by exploring the depths of the devastation may we find and extract vital materials to nourish and expand our iron hive. Failure is not an option. Okay? So this is exploration. The map is going to open up, and there's going to be places that we can explore in order to get resources once our debris piles run out. And this is going to be a really important mechanic because this is going to be like the only way that you can get resources after these piles are gone. So you're going to kind of want to have a dedicated team that levels up by going into the dungeon and gathering loot. Otherwise, you're going to run into major stopgaps where you just can't get enough stuff in order to keep your city building up and producing enough supplies to keep up with demand. It's actually kind of horrifying. Let's take our new quest over here. So what is it? Keys of progress to unlock a new building. Okay. We've also got to level up. Let's throw some new things inside of our deck. We can get a worker promotion right here. I think that would be a good idea right about now. Let's bless a worker. So we've got a couple workers that we can choose from here. I was going to upgrade this guy. So let's upgrade this guy. And it is now Carol, the Mystic of the Runes. I didn't get that portrait last time. Cool. And now she's got 3 skill, which makes her even better. Let's go to exploration real fast, and let's see how good a 3-skill character does inside the dungeon, shall we? Because getting this started early feels like a strong play to me. Oh, I don't have any AP, so I can't. Okay, let's pass. All right, so we're good on all of our meters. We did pull out a bunch of minerals on this turn, which will be helpful. I'm going to throw a mineral inside of there. I'm going to throw the last scrap inside of there, and then we're going to construct this bad boy. Perfecto. We're getting +3 per turn right there. I need 2 leaders and 2 manuscripts to take it up to 5, but I'm not convinced I'm actually going to need that. Let's use some AP to maybe scavenge this pile. No, let's finish this pile, I suppose. I need organics and other stuff too, so there's a manuscript. We'll throw that in on that bottom tile right there, and then we're going to throw... What does this go off of? It goes off of manuscripts. All right, I'm going to need more manuscripts. And it gave me more manuscripts. Lovely. Let's fuel him up so that he's pumping along. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. It applied it to the upgrade. No, I wanted it to apply to fuel. No! Okay, that's not great. That could become a considerable problem later on down the line. Let's go ahead and get that slotted in right there just to get it out of the deck, and then we're out of AP for the round. We've got a rumor coming soon, too. Workers in the debris piles find an ancient tome, lost and covered in strange symbols. Some believe the book may bring misfortune, while others see it as a potential source of valuable knowledge. Destroying its pages is to deny power, but reading them may reveal powerful secrets or unleash unknown forces. So we can add 5 over here on our counter, which would put us at a little bit of a disadvantage, or we can take Occult Temptation, which sort of changes the way the game plays. So every time you play a card with Occult Temptation in your hand, there's a chance that you'll draw another card and just get it for free. The downside is every single time it does that, it gets a counter, and when it gets too many counters, you get a rumor automatically outside of the rumor counter, which is a crisis that you have to deal with, and so it can become kind of nightmarish really quick. I'm going to burn the book, even though I may regret it later on down the line, and then we'll just let her ride. I do very much need, so let's get the outsider real fast and see what he gives me. He didn't give me what I wanted. You can pull your cards out of here, and I am going to pull my card out of here to my hand so that I can finish this bottom building. So let's construct that real quick. This takes organics, so that's okay. Let's keep working on this pile to get the quest done, and that'll give us all our workers back too. We got an organic right there. Let's use that to fuel that furnace. And then this functions off manuscripts, so we'll add that right there to guarantee that we've still got that coming on in. We do need to get a religious building up and running too. How big is the religious building? Let's get the Tower of Devotion real fast, and we'll see if we can figure out a place to put it. So Tower of Devotion's kind of big, but if I can get it to clump, that would be all right. I'll work on it next turn, I think. This turn we'll probably just hang out and let it ride. We do have another quest that we've completed too, so there we go. Gave me the Night Watch, but I don't have an AP to play it. We've also got a level up. With my level up, I'm going to go with Reinforcement because I need more. Actually, I'm going to take... Let's take a Reinforcement, I guess. I kind of need the resource card right now to fill up my purple before it starts getting out of hand. And we did get Devotion, so I think we made the right call. I think that was the right choice. Collect that all up. It's going to go into our deck, which only has 1 in it, which guarantees we'll get it next turn. We've got 28 plays left until something bad happens. We also have, I think, our rumor counter reset, so we're going to get a rumor on the next turn, too. There's our rumor. The community welcomes a peculiar traveler. Part preacher, part illusionist, they display their fascinating art. Promising revelations and salvation, they intertwine prophecy and prestidigitation, arousing the curiosity of some and drawing skepticism from others. We can get order, or we can get a purple card with 4 skill. I'm going to take that. Purple card with 4 skill is ridiculous. That's really, really helpful. And so I'm going to take that. I'm going to play this. Oop. I'm going to play that first. I also need to get this rumor going because if I leave it in my hand for too long, we get -3 order. Actually, I can let it ride for a little bit. It says the penalty for not using it is that I get -3 order, but we're only on 1 order, and we have 16 extra. So technically, I might be able to let that guy float for a little bit. Let me go explore real fast with our new hero. Let's do the 3 difficulty dungeon. And 1 person can handle that exploration all by themselves. So that's super optimal. This is hyper efficient right now. So we'll explore with that 1 person just to get free resources because we don't know what we're going to get out. This one's 5 difficulty, so we need 5 skill worth of people in there to make it function. But we can let it ride for a little bit. Let's go back to the hive, and let's be careful about what we want to do here. So I've got organics left, and I need organics to get the Temple of Devotion back up and running. I do think it's a good idea that we focus on the Temple of Devotion for right now. That way we're generating purple resource because we took a little bit of despair that I'm going to have to let float for a little bit. With these guys over here, go ahead and harvest. Okay, and that debris pile is now finally gone. What was my reward? 8 XP. Good. 8 XP gives us a free level up. Let's decide what we want. I think I'd like to take a leadership card. Methinks. Okay. The energy forge. We'll play. I love that chain animation right there, and they've got the sound effect for it dialed in just perfectly. Just absolutely great work. Having got this guy back, if I can get another blue worker, we can put him in here and get 5 order every single turn, but I don't think we're going to need 5 order every single turn. Like, I don't think it's going to be necessary. Over here, I do need a green guy to maybe upgrade these dudes, and I think I will start that project now. So let's get those guys in there, and we need one more manuscript on this side to make it function. Where's this guy at with his fuel? Where's this guy at with his fuel? We need another organic up here, and then I need a priest to come up so that I can get a worker inside of there, and then I think we'll be ready to rock. I'm going to let this flow. I'll just take the 3 chaos. That's fine. It's not even chaos. I don't even need to pay it. It's just taking 3 right now. So we'll let it ride for a turn or two until this number becomes something that I have to deal with. The tunnel amidst the debris was deep and led into darkness. The whispers grew louder as the workers advanced, and at the bottom they found a hidden chamber with ancient technologies that could revolutionize our production. However, extracting those mechanisms will not be easy. Some saw figures in the shadows, suggesting that the whispers conceal a threat. We can get 2 mechanisms, which are a very rare resource that allow you to upgrade something to tier 3, or we can get Investigate the Shade and a Rumor. We can't really take that right now because we're about to pay the piper, so I'm going to take the Haunting Rumor, and hopefully it's okay. I did get another priest right here, which is good, and she's got bad perks, so I might as well apply her up here in order to generate a little bit of a resource right there. I would like this to clump, but I think it might be too late now. I don't know if you can order them to clump once you add another one on this side. I'm really not too sure. Let's go ahead and choose a citizen from the deck. We've got another priest right there. I'll take her. I don't really need her, but I'll take her. I will play... What I'd like to get, actually, is if I purchase the Purveyance Central... This automatically adds assets to the buildings around it. It might be worthwhile to build. How big is it? Pretty big. I don't know if we're going to have space to clump them. I would like to clump them, but I don't know if it's going to clump. What's my new quest over here? What do we have going on? Raise the efficiency of a production building by 1. Okay. I think I just need another worker or something over here. I could use a manuscript, too. A manuscript would be nice. I've got AP left. Let's pull these guys out of this debris pile. You guys come to my hand. And then I'm going to put you guys in over here. And I'm going to see what I can get out. There we go. Okay, the gambit appears to have paid off. So this guy only needs 1 more manuscript. Now he's level 2, so he's spitting out 2 workforce every X amount of time. I may consider opening up this one, but I haven't decided yet. I don't want to get too wild and crazy with it because at a certain point we're going to run out of resources to fuel these buildings and keep them up and running because there's just going to be too many of them to keep concurrent. And so I'm being a little nervous right now because this game is very difficult and throws a lot of curveballs at you the further into it that you get. I will scavenge over here, I think. And that leaves us with no AP left. Next turn. We're going to have to deal with a rumor, though, before too long. It takes 5 turns to go down to the bottom of the dungeon, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not checking in on my dungeon character. It's because it's not necessary to check in on my dungeon character right now. She doesn't do anything until this has a 5 on it. So a haunting situation with a complexity of 5. 1 random citizen from one of your buildings will go to the discard pile if you don't play this. Okay, let's see what we can do. So it's got a complexity of 5. With a complexity of 5 with a 90% chance of death for anybody that goes in there. Okay, we'll play her right there. We're going to play Night Watch to get another worker. We're going to play Leadership to get an AP. That gave us him right there. 10% chance of death with an 80% chance of success. I have a priest over here. Hold on. Let me pull this priest off this pile. Put her in right there. We'll solve the situation. Apparently, beings deformed by the dark veil, veritable abominations are emerging from the deeps. We also have to pay our taxes right now. Luckily, we're squared away, so we should be all right. The good news is every time we solve a problem, inside the city, and every time we pay our taxes, we get XP. So we just leveled up. Let's see what we got. I think that I would like to promote another character. Having high-level characters, very, very vital for actually making any kind of real damage on some of the events in this game. I will level up you, maybe. We have Veron, the Guardian of Justice now. Well, there you go. Sounds good. If I put her in here, will it satisfy 2 of those? It does! Very nice. Okay, well, that's helpful. Over on this side, let's go ahead and have you, the Mystic of the Runes, go inside of there and just start scavenging for me. Ooh, banger turn right there. We got a bunch of goodies out of there. That's a hell yeah, brother. Let's upgrade that to level 2. So this is now spitting out 2 devotion. I probably won't fuel it too much because, as you can see, both chaos and despair are temporary. They go away after you resolve your taxes, but these ones don't. These ones continue building up. We are going to need more workforce, actually. We need more workforce pretty badly. Okay, let's go for the workforce then, I suppose. Put him in there. And actually, I just noticed how long the video's been going. But this right here is a little title called IRONHIVE. I like the game a lot, and so anyways, I'm going to stop the video off right here. I think that this game is actually pretty elegant. It's one of those games that manages to combine together a number of really, really good ideas from other successful titles into something that's got a fantastic art style, completely and totally unifying it. At the beginning of the video, I talked about how I'd kind of been obsessed with it. Like, I got stuck on this demo for like a solid couple hours, and then I played it back through again just because I enjoyed it so much the first time, and there's kind of these little branch paths on some of the little events and things like that that come up that can markedly change the way that you play through and what you have to focus on while you're playing the game. And so anyways, this is a remarkably strong demo. I like it a lot. I think the game is great, and I can't wait to see what sort of scenarios and narratives they come up with for the final 1.0 release. Very, very excited. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in, and that's about all I got for you, folks.